Well, what do you know? What do you know? I know I didn't realize that we were that far behind on numbers until I started pulling them up and looking at them. I got 7 weeks worth of numbers to knock out right fast, so I don't want to drag this video out, make it, you know, extremely long or anything like that. So to kind of just shorten it up, I'm going to show the week, and I'm going to show the total revenue to the truck, not gross revenue, not before Landstar's cut, none of that. Just gross revenue to the truck, what the truck made, and we will move on. I got 4 weeks on the board right now. We'll run through those, and then after I knock those out, clean the board off, throw 3 more weeks on there, and we'll run through those. Like I said, try not to stretch this out too much. I'm down here in southern Louisiana, and it's a little warm, and I got the truck turned off so that y'all can hear me all right. So without sitting here rambling too much longer, let's just get to it. Let's knock it out, and then I can do a video for the week that I'm on right now in a couple of days, because that'll end on Tuesday. So let's get to it. So when I was going back through the videos, looking at where I left off at, last place I left off at was August 23rd. So the next week is August 24th through the 30th, and the truck did $7,053.31. So that's not a bad week. Turned out pretty decent. Next week after that, August 31st through September 6th. This is where my problems started at, and you can actually see it in my revenue. So this is when I actually ended up sitting in St. Louis for 2 days, which then in return ended up causing me to lose all the loads that I had booked, which also completely redirected my Labor Day weekend. When that happened and I had to cancel them loads, it left me looking at leftover loads for Labor Day weekend. So I was basically looking at scraps, and everything I was looking at was going to have me sitting for multiple days. So if I was going to have to sit for multiple days over Labor Day weekend, I just went ahead and basically routed myself back to the house for the weekend, which is what happened in these 2 weeks right here. You kind of see it. But this is the week that I sat in St. Louis because the customer refused to accept the load and the shipper refused to take it back, and the agent and the brokerage on it, you know, they were kind of going back and forth on what to do with the load. And then the brokerage, like I said, I'm not going to put the brokerage on blast or anything like that. It's one of the bigger ones, but they really didn't want to pay nothing. So full week out, truck made $45.15 and 83 cents. Not just completely terrible, but it's just not the kind of revenue that I want to see whenever I'm working all week long. So roll from 2 days of sitting in St. Louis to the next week. So September 7th to September 13th. This is the week that I had the load from Dallas to Laredo cancel on me, and I ended up bouncing from Dallas to Laredo on my own dime to get that load that I had booked out of Laredo to Denton. So September 7th to September 13th. This is also the week that on my way back out of Laredo, I hit the tire. Did the damage to the air tank, left me sitting on the side of the road for the majority of the day. Just was not a good week. It did not turn out to be a good week at all. So I also went home on this weekend also, because this was my actual scheduled weekend to go home. This one wasn't, but this one was. So I did route myself back to the house from Denton, but the total revenue to the truck, $2,272.77. I didn't make any money this week, because if you think about it, I still got a truck payment. I still had to pay a repair bill and a service guy. So this week was a big fat L. As a loss all day long. Negative money. So basically I worked and had to pay bills, didn't make no money, couldn't pay myself that week. Now obviously I did, but I'm just saying, that's not a profitable week right there at all. So the next week, September 14th through September 20th, this was a good week. I come back out of the house and I booked some loads with some agents that I've dealt with already. I ran a lane that I like to run. I came out of Oklahoma City, ran to Las Vegas, grabbed a short load out of Vegas down to SoCal, and then SoCal right back to Oklahoma City. So $8,619.16. So that was a pretty good week. I like that run. That is a lane that I like to run. So that turned out to be a pretty good week. So this week here wasn't a bad week. I almost call that a break-even week. I mean, there was money to be made, but there wasn't much. But this week here was definitely a loss. That week there cost me money. So that does happen. You got to be prepared for it. So that's where I'm at. I'm gonna clean the board off and we'll get to the next 3 weeks. All right, got the board cleaned off, got the next 3 weeks up there. Figured I'd just kind of cut all that out. I figured y'all don't want to stare at my backside while I'm doing all that. So let's just get to it. So the next week was September 21st through September 27th. That week I did $3,781.55. That's a short week. That's the week they charged me $1,600 to move that load. The other half of that load that they said that I was at fault for. So as you can see, that would have been a pretty decent week, but I lost $1,600 right off the top of that. So that would have been like 53.81. What did I say that was? 53.81.55 is what I would have done that week. But they took $1,600 right out of the top of that, and that's what I was left with to the truck. So $3,781.55. It's not a good week. The next week, September 28th to October 4th, did $6,623.04 to the truck. Not a bad week. Not a great week, but not a bad week. The week following that, now you can see, like, this is kind of where it ended. I don't want to jinx myself, but I'm kind of back on a good run again. So the following week was October 5th to October 11th. And I actually went home this weekend also. So $5,879 with 2 days off. So that was a good week also. So like you can see, that week was definitely a L all day long. By the time you figure fuel, truck payment, it didn't leave much. Now, it wasn't a complete loss, but it's just, I'm calling it an L because I didn't make the kind of money I feel like I should have made for a full week worth of running. So it is what it is. Things happen and you got to be able to get past them. You know, like I said, you can't get down. You got to keep moving, and that's just part of it. You know, that's part of trucking. There's going to be good weeks, there's going to be bad weeks. Your good weeks just got to outweigh the bad weeks. You know, when your bad weeks hit you, you know, you got to pull your bootstraps up and keep moving. That's all you can do. You can't sit around, you can't dwell on it, because if you do, you'll turn a bad week into a bad month. You know, and bad months turn into bad years. So anyway, not going to ramble any longer on it. We're all caught up. I'll do a video this week and actually detail out this week's numbers. We'll get back on track of doing those weekly. I've got a couple other videos in the works that I need to get to. I still need to do a part 2 to the cost per mile video, so stay tuned for that. That's still coming. I ain't forgot about it. But anyway, like always, y'all hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, stay safe, keep the rubber side down and the shiny side up. I about did that backwards. Yeah, shiny side up, rubber side down. Catch y'all on the next one.